You know, ever since it was announced that my beloved, my co-partner of this bromance, my boy Henry Cavill, was no longer going to be Superman in the DC, as the DCEU was ending. They were restarting with a brand new DCU, and they decided they needed not a new actor to play Superman. They needed a new Superman. They wanted to just start fresh with a brand new Superman character, and thus, obviously, they needed a new actor. That's cool. I still get Henry and a lot of other things. But once they announced that Henry Cavill was no longer going to be our Superman, a lot of people started the whispers and the chanting, stuff like that. Well, now Marvel should sign him. Especially like Captain Britain is, to me, a little bit too on the nose. But I think Henry Cavill is a remarkable actor. I think the world of his acting ability ever since I saw him in The Tudors. Like, I thought, this guy is awesome. Then you see him in things like Man from U.N.C.L.E. I thought he was fantastic in that. I've just liked Henry in just about everything he's done. Well, there are now some reports going around. You may have seen some of the big websites and outlets are reporting that there are some stories going around that Henry Cavill has already indeed signed up to play a as of yet unnamed character in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This comes to us from the folks over at Coming Soon, who wrote the following. According to Scooper My Time to Shine, Henry Cavill has supposedly joined the MCU by accepting a role offered to him. However, it is unknown what role it is. As of writing, My Time to Shine Hello has not revealed it. Take this scoop with a grain of salt, as it has not been directly from Marvel Studios or Kevin Feige. All right. Now, normally on my show, we don't talk about, random Twitter rumors, right? However, several of the outlets are running with this, and it does need to be pointed out that while not always right, the Twitter handle of My Time to Shine Hello has gotten several things right. Not all the time. And some of the things they predict are like spaghetti against the wall, like, say Henry Cavill signed up. And if he doesn't sign up for something in the next 5 years, My Time to Shine never said it would be within the next 5 years. I mean, so it could be a spaghetti against the wall sort of thing. Maybe, perhaps. But there have been times in My Time to Shine, this particular Twitter rumor leaker has been accurate. So it's something to at least take a look at and consider. Mm-hmm. Could Henry actually be joining the MCU? Well, you got to understand, he's an actor in Hollywood. The MCU has hundreds of actors that work with them. Why not Henry Cavill? In the world of superhero genres, forget the fact that Henry Cavill has played Superman. Henry has experience in the genre, period. He is a terrific actor. He's a great looking dude. He's got the pure brute physical. We were just talking about Alan Ritchson. Henry Cavill gives Alan Ritchson. He's not quite the same level as Alan, but he can give Alan Ritchson a run for his money as far as pure physique that you bring to the big screen for a superhero look and appearance and stuff like that. So why not Henry? So let's, for just a moment, just for a second, let's assume for the sake of this discussion that the reports going around are true and that Henry Cavill has signed a deal to appear in an MCU film as an unknown character at this point, whoever that may be. All right, let's play the speculation game. Who's it going to be? The big one that a lot of people are going to gravitate towards is, obviously Captain Britain. I mean, that's the one that people, even before Henry Cavill parted ways with DC, a lot of people, he could be Superman in the DCEU and he could be Captain Britain in the Marvel Universe. And actually, yeah, he could have been. There's nothing stopping him from doing that. So that's kind of been the big one. For me, I think it's a little bit too on the nose. I think it's just a little bit too on the nose. There's too many similarities. So I don't personally think it's going to be a Captain Britain. If anything, I think it might be a Guardians of the Galaxy kind of character. And what I mean by that is a character that has a real presence in the comics, but maybe nobody in the, movie-going audience really knows the character. Because, before Guardians came out, nobody had heard of Gamora. Nobody had heard of Drax. When I say nobody, I mean the average film goer and stuff like that. I have a feeling, Rob, and we have no idea that this is true or not, but for the sake of the discussion, if it's true, my guess it would probably be one of those, lesser known but well-established comic book characters that hasn't appeared on the big screen before. As far, Rob, as whether or not I think this report is true, I have no reason to doubt it, and it very well could be true. It could be. I certainly don't think you're crazy if you think it's true. I think there's enough going for it that it could be true. I don't think it is right now. Like right now, to me, it seems like a spaghetti against the wall kind of thing. Like, just say it and years are going to pass before we ever find out if it's true. And if it's not, people will forget about it. But it could be true. So Rob, let me put those two questions to you. Number one, do you think there's validity to these whispers going around and that the headlines are running right now? And whether or not you believe it's true, assuming for the sake of the discussion that it is, who could you see him playing at this point? We want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, Factor. Guys, some days it's great to prepare your own meal, but some days it's great to have wonderful, delicious meals already ready to go. Factor's delicious, ready-to-eat meals makes eating better every day easy. Wherever tomorrow takes you, be ready with pre-prepared, chef-crafted, and dietitian-approved meals delivered right to your door. You'll have over 35 different options a week to choose from, including keto, calorie smart, vegan, veggie, and more. And there's even more to enjoy with over 55 nutrition-packed add-ons that help make your weekly meal planning even more delicious. So what are you waiting for? Get started today and have a feel-good week of meals ready to go. They've got snacks, smoothies, and more. Discover a wide variety of easy options for the entire day, like breakfast, midday bites, and more. And guys, you get to save. We've done the math. Factor is less expensive than takeout, and every meal is dietitian approved to be nutritious and delicious. So guys, head to factormeals.com/Campea50 and use the code Campea50 to get 50% off. That's code Campea50 at factormeals.com/Campea50 to get 50% off.
Well, first of all, Henry Cavill has a physicality. Obviously, he played Superman, but it's not like we didn't have Chris Evans playing the Human Torch in Fox's Fantastic Four and then coming over and playing Captain America. So it's not unprecedented. And you and I have been going on and on and on about Henry Cavill's physicality and his presence and how much we like him. And he certainly looks like a lantern-jawed superhero. So it makes sense that they would actor gets role. I mean, Warner Brothers, he was going to play at one point Superman and he was going to play Napoleon Solo. And he did in Man from U.N.C.L.E. So, yeah, I think that it makes sense that there's not a lot of actors with that kind of, we're talking about Alan Ritchson, Henry Cavill is right on that list. So sure. But I can't help but feel like him being Captain Britain is kind of like, I don't know, it's so weird and on the nose to me. Like somebody just pulled that out of their ass that Henry Cavill might be a superhero in the MCU. So he can only play Captain Britain because he's from Britain. Okay.
And it's been Superman?
Yeah, and it's been Superman. I'm like, why not Guardian from Alpha Flight? Or somebody like that. Make him give him your hometown, make him from Hamilton, whatever. Why not do something like that? I'm not saying that they should. I love Alpha Flight. I wouldn't mind bringing them into the MCU, but I whether he's going to be Captain Britain in what? They could certainly use a character like that for Secret Wars, but that's kind of out of left field, and if you bring in Captain Britain, do you bring his brother in who's Psylocke? Betsy Braddock. Are you going to go that direction or what are you going to do? So I haven't seen any indication in the MCU that there's going to even be a Captain Britain. So I think it's speculation. That's why it leads me to believe it's probably not true. But if it was, it'd be cool.
Now I'm going to say something that it pains me to say it. Okay. It pains me to say this, but one of the other things working against the Henry Cavill thing, and again, I'm acknowledging it. I'm not saying it ain't true. It could be, and I'll be excited if it is. But one of the reasons why I think works against it, Rob, and again, it pains me to say this. This isn't a situation of like getting Leonardo DiCaprio to join the MCU or getting a Denzel Washington to join the MCU,
right?
Or even a Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Because the reality is, as great, and I mean great, that Henry Cavill is, he has not proven to be a box office draw. For example, as they were starting to realize over at Warner Brothers that Black Adam wasn't tracking so hot, they made the last minute desperate effort that got me excited and a lot of you excited that, look, everybody, Henry Cavill as Superman is going to be appearing in it. Even if it was just a post-credit scene, right? They believed that that would generate some excitement to sell some more tickets and put some more butts in the seat. But that movie still failed. By the way, I happen to kind of like Black Adam, the movie. I don't think it was great, but I kind of enjoyed it. That being said, then just recently, they had this movie, while he was not the main star in it, all the marketing claimed that he was the main star, right? Like when you looked at all the Argyle commercials, it was Henry Cavill front and center. They kind of made it look like it was a Henry Cavill movie. That movie tanked. I mean, I think it's been in theaters for like 3 weeks, and worldwide, it has made like $77 million. So I love Henry Cavill. I am a major Henry Cavill fan, and I think he's fantastic. But it's not like, Rob, it's a no-brainer because people run out to see Henry Cavill in movies. They haven't. And even as Man of Steel, kind of like a lot of people will say, well, you know, Man of Steel made $600 and something million. Man of Steel made just as much, if not a little bit more money than as the first DCEU movie, as the first Iron Man did, as the first, MCU movies did. But I always try to explain to these folks who say that, because that's the wrong way of looking at it, that but when Marvel was starting out, they were literally recreating the new era of the genre.
Right.
By the time Man of Steel came out, Marvel had developed the genre that comic book movies were billion-dollar films. And that's an advantage that Superman had when Man of Steel had when it first came out, that Marvel had created an excitement around the genre. When Marvel started, comic book movies weren't making $1 billion. When Superman, Man of Steel came out, they were. And it still wasn't able to even crack $700 million. So again, do not take this as some anti-Henry Cavill thing. I love me Henry Cavill. But I don't know, Rob, what do you think about my kind of assertion here that, you know what the reality is? He's not a huge box office draw no matter how good he is. I don't know. What do you think?
I agree with that. I mean, there is no denying that. I mean, I think he's a great performer, and I don't think he's ever quite got his due at the box office. But look, as a supporting character, you bring him in and then allow him to rise up in the ranks based on his abilities. I think that could be, I don't think they're going to make a movie with him headlining it. I think he'll come in and be a supporting character the way Paul Bettany was a supporting character as Vision.
Oh, that's interesting.
I mean, because that's a great way to do it. Bring him in. Look, he's one of us. They talk about women's uteruses exploding watching that video of him putting his gaming computer together. That guy is one of us, and people love him. So when you bring him in as a secondary character and make that character beloved the way Vision was immediately beloved in Age of Ultron, and then you can have him rise up the ranks. He earns his way through it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think, you know what? I think you're right. He comes in and he plays like, Brian Tyree, who was in Eternals, right? He's not the main headline guy, but he's there. I think you're right. Maybe he's that. Again, I don't even think the report is true that he's going to be in the MCU, but it's possible. And if he is, I think I agree with you, Rob. I think he'll be a secondary character that maybe, works his way forward from there, but we will have to see. Question is for you guys. What do you think about this? Do you believe the report that Henry Cavill has already agreed to appear in a future MCU film as a particular character that we don't know who it is yet? Or do you believe, this is just fan wishing? I mean, there's nothing there. It's not legitimate. But if he is in it, who could you see him playing? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.